Welcome to the second video on the lecture on SK Financial Transactions. If you haven't watched the first video of this lecture, please do so. A link is provided in the comment section or in the caption of this video. In this video, we will discuss the basic standards and policies governing financial transactions and operations of the SK. All of these standards are enumerated in the Handbook on Financial Transactions of the SK, which I will share with you in one of the social media platforms that we have. So please follow our Facebook page and join the Learning Hub group. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to have access to these materials. Before we formally start, may I remind you that these video lectures are not intended to replace the formal trainings that will be provided by authorities. These are just mere supplements to your learning. So when there are learnings and seminars that will be offered by COA, DILG, DBM, and other institutions, please attend to those trainings for they have more structured discussions. Okay. There are 24 basic standards and policies governing financial transactions and operations of the SK. First one is the SK shall have the financial independence in its operations, disbursements, and encashment of its funds, income, and expenditures. This is in accordance with Section 20, Paragraph B of the IRR of RA number 10742 as amended by RA number 11768. As such, the SK funds shall be deposited in the name of the SK of the barangay concerned in a government-owned bank situated in or nearest to its area of jurisdiction, with the SK chairperson and the SK treasurer as the official signatories. For efficiency and economy purposes, it is strongly recommended, strongly encouraged for the SK to open and maintain a depository account in the same bank and branch of its barangay. Let me emphasize that the bank account opened by the old set of SK officials will just be continued by the new SKs through updating of the signatories. The new SKs does not have to open a new bank account. Number 2. 10% of the general fund of the barangay shall be set aside for the SK. The Sangguniang Barangay shall appropriate the SK fund in lump sum, which shall be disbursed solely by the SK for youth development and empowerment purposes. If the barangay does not have SK officials, or there are SK officials but they do not have a separate bank account yet, still the SK funds shall be appropriated in lump sum, equivalent to the 10% of the general fund. Hindi lang 10% ng National Tax Allocation or NTA, but the total general fund, which may comprise of the NTA plus local taxes in form of share in cedula, certification fees, barangay business permits, and other local sources of income by the barangay. This 10% of the general fund will be transferred to the trust fund of the barangay and will be transferred in full once the SK has its own bank account na. So na-mention ko na dapat i-transfer sa trust fund ng barangay. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Do I mean that the barangay needs to open a new bank account para dun sa trust fund? No, the trust fund is only an imaginary separation of fund. There is no physical transfer, but only a constructive transfer in form of recording, meaning the chairman of the committee on appropriations ng barangay or yung barangay treasurer, whoever is preparing the registries, ay gagawa ng registry of special trust fund for the SK. Per record, itatransfer ang amount ng SK fund to this registry and will be taken away from the general fund of the barangay per record para hindi na siya masubject sa barangay disbursement. Next, The SK funds shall be disbursed in accordance with the provisions of the RA number 10742 as amended and its IRR. The Republic Act number 10742 as amended by Republic Act number 11768 provides for the various programs, projects, and activities kung saan dapat i-disburse yung SK fund. Mga ano ito? These are the PPAs that will promote and attain the thrust of the Philippine Youth Development Plan or PYDP, such as health, education, environment, global mobility, active citizenship, governance, social equity and inclusion, peace building and security, human rights, gender equality, and economic empowerment. The IRR of RA number 11768 provides for the specific PPAs that may be included in the SK funds. These are student stipends, food, book and transportation allowances, and other educational assistance programs that will reduce the incidence of out-of-school youth and dropouts. I think alam nyo na to. I have seen educational assistance in form of school supplies and cash assistance that the SKs grant to the students in the community. So, pasok sa dyan. So, pwede din palang food, book, and transportation allowances. Let me just emphasize that the purpose of these allowances is to reduce the incidence of the out-of-school youth and dropouts. Here, the SK shall be careful kung sino-sino yung intended recipients ng financial assistance na yan. During the audit, if it will be found out that the financial assistance was given to those that does not need it, that there is very low possibility that the student will drop out despite non-availment of the assistance. In cases when the student comes from a well-off family, then the assistance given to that particular student does not meet the purpose of the fund. So we have to bear in mind the purpose. Hindi yung lalahatin na lang para walang magtampo. Another is sports and wellness projects to address physical and mental health, teenage pregnancy, substance abuse, and other health issues. Here, sports is very common. Lagi ko itong nakikita sa projects ng SK. Puro paliga, pa-sports fest, which is good. But pwede din palang wellness projects to address mental health, teenage pregnancy, substance abuse, and other health issues. Gamitin yung imaginative minds nyo how you will address these. Ano-anong programs ang pwede nyong i-incorporate sa plan that would address these issues. Another is skills training, summer employment, on-the-job training, and livelihood assistance. Projects promoting participation of the youth and their initiation in agricultural, fishery, and forestry enterprises. Programs and projects that will locate the youth at the forefront of climate action, environmental protection, and conservation efforts and enlist their involvement in calamity preparedness, information dissemination, and other disaster-related activities. Pwede din capacity building for grassroots and leadership and values education. Also, programs and activities that address context-specific and intersectional vulnerabilities of young people. These are the enumerated PPAs that the IRR of the SK Reform Act of 2015 as amended set forth. A more detailed discussion on this will be incorporated in a separate lecture. The SK fund shall be dispersed not only with the provision of the SK Reform Act, but also in accordance with RA 7160 or the Local Government Code of 1991. Ano yung sinasabi sa Local Government Code? Section 433 of the Local Government Code states that the Sangguniang Kabataan Treasurer shall disburse funds in accordance with an approved budget of the Sangguniang Kabataan. Also, Chapter 4 of the Code provides for the limitations on the disbursement of the government fund which includes, marami yan, pero I just included here a few. There is a prohibition against expenditures for religious or private purpose. Be careful tayo. Hindi pwedeng gamitin ang government funds, ang SK funds sa religious or private purpose. Dapat for public purpose ang gagamitan. Prohibitions against advance payments. So walang advance payments unless provided for by law. No cash advance shall be granted to any local official or employee, elective or appointed, unless made in accordance with the rules and regulations as the Commission on Audit may prescribe. This will be discussed in detail also in a separate lecture in cash advances. But for now, let me just emphasize that elective officials are not allowed to be given cash advances except for travel. So cash advances for payroll and other operating expenses may only be granted to the SK treasurer. There are several provisions in the local government code pertaining to the disbursement of government funds in general. A copy of the code is also shared in this page or in this channel, so feel free to download it. Another guidelines in the disbursement of funds is the Republic Act number 9184 or the Government Procurement Reform Act. Disbursement of SK funds shall also be in accordance with the Government Procurement Reform Act. This pertains to your procurement activities. To briefly discuss, dapat before the start of the calendar year or at least before you start with your procurement activities, there should already be an approved APP, the Annual Procurement Plan. Here you will lay down all your procurement activities for the calendar year and you shall already identify the modes of procurement that you will employ for each activity. The general rule is procurement. All procurement activities shall be made through a public bidding to ensure the most advantageous deal for the government. However, for highly exceptional cases, the Republic Act number 9184 provides for the alternative modes of procurement, such as small value procurement, negotiated procurement, shopping, procurement under emergency cases, and others. A separate lecture will also be given on this topic to give this a thorough discussion. Next rule is that all monies officially received by the SK officials in any capacity or on any occasion shall be accounted for as SK fund unless otherwise provided by law. This only means that lahat ng marireceive ng SK officials na para sa SK na hindi ibibigay sa inyo if hindi kayo SK officials shall form part of the SK funds, like financial assistance intended for a specific purpose in line with the purpose of the SK. Kahit yung check is nakapangalan sa SK treasurer lang or sa SK chair, if it is officially intended for the SK, it should be accounted for as part of the SK fund. Next, SK funds shall be utilized solely for youth development and empowerment purposes. Such funds shall be utilized in accordance with the approved budget of the SK. We have already discussed this on the previous slides when we discussed that disbursement of the SK fund shall be in accordance with the Local Government Code and the SK Reform Act of 2015 as amended. Number 6, disbursements, payments, disposition of the SK funds or property shall invariably bear the approval of the proper officials. This was taken from Section 20, Paragraph 5 of Presidential Decree number 1445, which states that disbursements or disposition of government funds or property shall invariably bear the approval of the proper officials. This rule is the same as all government agencies, the national government, local government units like the provinces, cities, barangays, and now the SKs. Sino-sino yung proper officials? First, yung budget monitoring officer. Si BMO, he or she will signify kung ang disbursement ba ay may available na budget. Or if trust fund ang source, may na-receive ba na fund for this purpose. Next is that the SK treasurer will signify if there is available cash and kung kumpleto ba ang supporting documents. And finally, after dumaan sa BMO and sa SK treasurer, the SK chairperson will approve the disbursement from the SK fund. Anong basis ng SK chair pag-approve ng disbursement? Kung ang disbursement ba ay necessary, valid, proper, and legal. Saan makikita ang approval ng three officials na to? Sa disbursement voucher. No payment from the SK fund shall be made without the properly approved disbursement voucher. Emphasis on the properly approved. So, kung ang SK mag-disburse without the concurrence ng BMO, SK Treasurer, and the SK Chair, as shown in the disbursement voucher, then the disbursement is illegal as it is a violation of a law. And the law violated is the Presidential Decree number 1445 as adopted by the Local Government Code of 1991. All claims against SK funds shall be supported with complete documentation. Claims against government funds shall be supported with complete documentation. Ito ang sinecertify ng SK Treasurer. So it is the Treasurer's duty to ensure that the documentary requirements to the particular transaction is properly complied with. Only when the documents are complete shall the treasurer sign the disbursement voucher. Ano ang effect pag nabayaran ang disbursement na hindi kompleto ang documents? The COA shall issue a notice of suspension or NS requiring the concerned SK officials to submit the lacking documents within 90 days from receipt of the NS. What happens if the documents are not complied with within the time frame? Then the NS shall mature into a notice of disallowance. Yung dating requirement na mag-submit lang ng documents will be converted to a return of the funds unless you file an appeal thereto. A separate lecture is ideal on issues regarding the notices of suspension, disallowance, charges, and all matters related to it. Paano naman naming malalaman kung ano ang mga requirements na to? The COA issued COA Circular 2012-001 prescribing the documentary requirements to common government transactions. This was later on updated through the issuance of COA Circular 2023-004, but this is currently suspended due to some issues to the circular. So currently, we will be using the COA Circular 2012-001 until further notice. So, in summary, the SK Treasurer shall not certify the voucher kung kulang ang documents, and relatedly, the SK Chair shall not approve its payment. Number 8. Revenue generated from sources expressly authorized under Republic Act Number 10742 as amended and collections thereof shall at all times be acknowledged properly. How? By issuing an official receipt. However, for revenue collected by the SK through direct deposit to the SK's bank account shall be supported with a copy of the validated deposit slip in lieu of the OR. But there are cases when the source agency or the agency who downloaded the funds may require the issuance of the official receipt as they will also liquidate these funds na ibinigay sa inyo. So kung mag-request ang source agency ng OR, then the SK may issue. Fiscal responsibility shall be shared by all those exercising authority over the financial affairs, transactions, and operations of the SK. The SK chairperson is primarily responsible on all affairs of the SK. This responsibility shall be shared with other officials who bears the authority and responsibility over a particular transaction or property. Example, kung may disbursement which was approved for payment but the documentary requirements ay kulang, but it was paid anyway, the SK chair and the treasurer will answer for that. If it was paid kahit walang budget and the BMO signed the voucher, the BMO and the chair shall bear the responsibility. Hindi nakasama ang treasurer kasi sinertify lang naman niya is the availability ng cash and the completeness ng documents unless may document needed na related sa budget. Another example is may laptop na na-issue kay SK Secretary tapos nawala. The chair, the SK treasurer, and the SK secretary shall bear the responsibility unless it is shown that the chair and treasurer was not negligent in their duties. Then the SK secretary lang ang mahuhold responsible. Next, the SK chairperson shall be immediately and primarily responsible for all the funds and property pertaining to the SK. This was already discussed in the previous slide. 11. Proper handling or custody of the funds and property of the SK rests with the SK treasurer. A separate discussion will be made to expound on this, but for now, this provision means that the SK treasurer is the default property officer. That is why yung example ko kanina dun sa nawalang laptop, kahit si SK secretary ang nakawala at sa kanya naka-issue, ay damay pa din si SK treasurer kasi siya ang custodian ng properties and basically being the treasurer, siya din ang custodian ng SK funds. The SK chairperson, with the concurrence of the majority of the SK members, shall designate a budget monitoring officer who shall be responsible in the monitoring of the budget and preparation of the budget reports. The BMO shall come from the SK officials except the SK treasurer. So si BMO, dapat kasama siya sa SK council. This is clear enough. And for sure, meron na kayo mga BMO sa mga SK nyo. Budget monitoring will be done by the BMO. So from the budgeting phase pa lang until the utilization of the budget as well as the reporting on the movement of the budget will be done by the BMO. Number 13. Persons entrusted with the possession or custody of the funds or property shall be immediately responsible to the SK chairperson without prejudice to the liability of either party to the SK. In our previous example, on the loss of a laptop issued to the SK secretary, the SK secretary shall inform immediately the SK chair about the loss. This is what it means that they should be immediately responsible to the SK chairperson. Then the SK shall investigate kung ano talaga ang nangyari and who was responsible for the loss of the laptop. There is a process on how to handle this kind of situation. Part of this is an independent investigation that will be conducted by the COA. If the COA finds out that not only the SK secretary but also the SK chair was negligent, which contributed to the loss of the laptop, then both officials shall be liable to the SK. This is what it means with the second sentence, without prejudice with the liability of either party to the SK. Number 14. Every officer of the SK whose duties permit or require the possession or custody of government funds or property shall be accountable therefore and for the safekeeping thereof in conformity with law. We have explained this in the previous slides, and it only means kung meron funds or property na i-entrust sa'yo, you are accountable for it. Kung mawala or masira yan because you are negligent, you shall be liable for it. Babayaran mo yan at cost, kahit old model na yan at depreciated na ang value. You shall be liable to pay for it at the amount it was originally purchased, or you will make a replacement with a similar or a higher quality item. Number 15. The SK chairperson and the SK treasurer shall exercise the diligence of a good father of a family in supervising accountable officers under his control to prevent the incurrence of loss of government funds or property. Otherwise, he shall be jointly and solidarily liable with the person primarily accountable therefor. The SK treasurer shall likewise exercise the same degree of supervision over accountable officers under his or her supervision. Otherwise, he shall be jointly and solidarily liable with them for the loss of government funds or property under their control. So ano itong diligence of a good father of a family? What does this mean? This is the degree of diligence na dapat ine-exercise ng SK Chair and SK Treasurer in the performance of their duties. This is the kind of diligence na gagawin ng isang tao which is in his right senses. Example is when the SK Barangay's office is located sa isang area na bahain, and the local DRRM announced beforehand within a sufficient time na mag-evacuate ang mga tao within that area and secure their belongings. Pero, the SK Chair and the Treasurer did not transfer their important documents and the laptop to the evacuation area or somewhere else safe. Here, both the chair and treasurer may be liable for the losses of the accounts and the properties kasi hindi nila in-exercise ang right degree ng diligence na required sa situation na to. The diligence na dapat in-employ ng sinumang tao in his right senses. In the same situation, example, the SK Chair and the SK Treasurer exercise the right degree of diligence. Pero still, ang baha ay umabot sa evacuation center, damaging or destroying completely the documents and the laptop. But let's say for example, yung documents na nandun sa evacuation center that were completely damaged, destroyed by the baha, pertains to transaction documents covering January to May. Pero yung typhoon, yung baha, occurred on June 15, for example. Now, the SK Treasurer and the SK Chair is already liable for the loss kasi they were already negligent. Kahit na-evacuate nila, na-transfer nila, na-keep safe nila yung documents. Tapos nasira pa din. Negligent pa din sila kasi late na
Number
sila
16.
on submitting
All
the
donations
documents
made
to OWA.
or received by the SK shall be covered by an SK resolution. The SK chair cannot receive and give donations without the approval of the SK council in a form of an SK resolution. Otherwise, the donation shall not bind the SK. Example, when the municipal government donates, let's say, a motor vehicle to the SK in support of the SK's educational program, the vehicle is intended to transport the youths to their schools. But the condition of the donation is that the repairs and maintenance of the vehicle shall be borne by the SK. When the vehicle needs repair, such repair shall not be charged against the SK fund. Even the fuel of such vehicle cannot be charged against it because the SK chair does not have the authority to accept the donation. Number 17. Every accountable officer shall be properly bonded. The SK chair and the SK treasurer are the accountable officers of the SK. They should be bonded in accordance with existing laws, rules, and regulations on bonding. Number 18. Procedures on disposal of unserviceable property shall be in accordance with Section 79 of PD number 1445 and applicable rules and regulations prescribed by COA. Every end of the year, the SK officers shall conduct an inventory of the SK's properties and equipment, those purchased as well as those donated properties. Yung form na gagamitin is the report on inventory of purchased property and equipment or RIPE kung purchased, and report on inventory of the donated property and equipment or RIDPE kung donated. There are several information contained in these reports. Among these information is the list of properties and equipment in the premises of the SK and their corresponding condition, whether they are functional, damaged, and repairable, or damaged and beyond economic repair. Yung mga property and equipment that are beyond economic repair shall be subject to disposal, and such disposal shall be in accordance with the rules on disposal, which is very tedious and will be discussed in a separate lecture on disposal. Number 19. SK financial transactions shall be kept under cash basis of accounting using a single entry bookkeeping system. This only means that the financial statements of the SK shall only consist of transactions involving cash, the receipts and disbursements of cash. So walang utang, walang accruals. With regards to the commitments that we have discussed in the first video, you can remember na wala pang cash involved yung commitment pero ni-record na natin siya. Don't be confused kasi commitments are only recorded sa budget records. This cash basis na sinasabi ko is an accounting record yan. These accounting records will be maintained by the SK Treasurer while the budget records will be maintained by the BMO. If this is still confusing, it's okay. You will be enlightened sa mga future lectures natin when we already discussed the procedures on how to prepare the financial forms. Number 20. The cash basis of accounting recognizes transactions and events only when cash is received or paid by the SK. Financial statements prepared under cash basis provide readers with information about the sources of cash received during the period for which cash was used and the cash balances at the reporting date. Number 21. SK accounting and budget records shall consist of the following: the register of cash receipts, deposits, and other related financial transactions to be maintained by the SK Treasurer. The register of cash in bank and other related financial transactions to be maintained also by the SK Treasurer. The registry of budget, commitments, payments, and balances to be maintained by the BMO, and the registry of the specific purpose fund, commitment, payments, and balances to be maintained also by the BMO. We shall have a separate discussion on how to accomplish these forms. For now, alam nyo na yung registers are maintained by the SK Treasurers, while the registries are maintained by the BMO. Number 22. All accountable forms, records, registers, registries, DVs, and supporting documents and reports of the SK shall be made available for audit by the COA auditor concerned. It shall also be made available to interested parties upon request, subject to the pertinent provisions of RA number 10173, otherwise known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Ang tawag natin sa submission of your disbursement vouchers, official receipts, records, and reports ay rendition of accounts. You shall render your accounts in accordance with COA rules and regulations. May regular rendition of accounts tayo that is on or before the 10th day of the ensuing month. Say, for example, the DVs, official receipts, and supporting documents for the month of May shall be submitted to COA by June 10. May sanctions din ang non-rendition ng accounts. This includes suspension of salaries without prejudice to the administrative and criminal actions that may be imposed if warranted by the situation. Number 23. All SK funds shall be subject to pertinent accounting and auditing laws, rules, and regulations. This is why we created this set of lectures kasi you will be subjected to audit. Not only financial audit but also compliance audit. So how you handle the SK fund should be in accordance with related laws and regulations. This is not an easy task being an SK. So the aim here is to orient you on the laws, rules, and regulations vital to your operations. Hindi nakakatakot gastusin ang SK fund.
as long as alam mo ang batas, ang regulasyon, at ang mga guidelines sa handling ng funds. And lastly, all incoming and outgoing official communications or documents relating to financial matters shall be recorded in a logbook. It shall also be made available to interested parties upon request, subject to the provisions of the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Okay, done na. So what is next? In our next lecture, we will discuss the SK budget, the process, the budget items that may be included in the budget, as well as the reports that the BMO shall prepare in the monitoring of the SK budget. So, see you in the next video.